Sorry, I'm very distracted. Do you have a moth in your recording booth?
No, it's the biggest fly I've ever seen.
Okay, because it looked like a meteor crossing your video camera.
I know. Truly. That's how it feels. I feel unsafe in here.
I'm Melody Carlisle.
And I'm Sabrina Bradley.
And this is Heaving Bosoms. This is the podcast where best friends recap romance novels and other kissing media that makes us swoon, snark, and refills our cups.
Whether you've read the book or are coming in blind, we'll lay bare every delicious scene and revel in the tropes and subgenres that make romance amazing.
All right, listener, strap in and strap on. Headphones are highly recommended.
Hi.
Oh, hey, Sabrina.
How are you?
I'm great. My neck, way better than I normally would be because I just have air on my neck all the time.
It's a game changer.
Listener, I cut my own hair on Sunday because the kids wanted their hair cut and we all decided to donate our hair. And so in order to get the length we need to squeak by, we had to go way shorter than I anticipated. And now I've got a chin length haircut and it's very cute. I'm not going to lie to you.
Super cute.
It's
you did
ridiculously
a good job.
Cute. Thank you. Mm-hmm. But I haven't had this short of hair in a really long time. And the liberation of the nape of my neck is a game changer, especially in summer when I'm perma sweating.
So I'm used to short hair, but I'm used to it extremely short at the back because I have a long.
Yeah.
It's a whole
you've got a
asymmetrical
pixie cut with a right.
bob. But it's super short at the back. So up until my last haircut, it had grown out enough that the hair was a solid 2 inches over the back of my 2 inches is a huge exaggeration. But there was a lot of it that covered my nape. And I'm used to.
And you hated it, didn't you?
Unlimited airflow to the back of my neck. And every time I moved my head, I could feel it. And I was like, This is terrible. This is also why my hair will never be grown back out. If I decide that I hate this haircut, I am just going to freaking shave my head and start wearing wigs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm never growing my hair back out.
I dig it. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's going to be tough for me to go back to not uber short hair. I don't know. We'll see how I feel in the winter because in the wintertime, it's very important for me to have my neck and chest covered.
Guess what? They make these things called scarves.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
You crochet, Melody.
Oh, what an interesting tidbit that you just remembered about me that I did not remember about me.
You could literally see the cutest shit in the world and be like, oh, so I guess you're not one of those toxic people who's I can make that to everything. Unfortunately, I've been
that's one of your toxic traits.
It really is. So for example, the algorithm has decided I deserve a lot of DIYers redoing their entire house.
I know. I always think I can do that real easy. I'm I can tile that. No problem. It's just tiling.
Or removing all of the flooring and fixing that.
Yeah.
Pulling out the fucking fancy stuff on your walls.
Mm-hmm. The drywall?
Yep, that's it.
There we go.
Pulling that out and adding walls to your house. Like there's so
Sure.
many things that people are
Or
like, look
making
what I can do.
arches out of doorways where it wasn't an arch before.
And they're
You
like,
know?
they're like, look at all you need are these 3 tools. And then you go Google those tools and it's like $800
That's
in
the
tools.
barrier to entry for me.
That's
the barrier
mine
to
too.
entry is the tools that you need, and specifically saws.
Yes.
Like
Because
I
they
would
take
love.
space.
Yes, they take space, and it's one thing to cut wood. That's very straightforward, but it's another thing to cut things like tile. And
Well, yeah,
the
because
amount
like it's
I would
best to have a wet
practice,
saw for that. Like
it's like a whole thing. It's like a whole thing. So that's what if I don't have a thing that will fit perfectly no matter what, I don't do the project. I can't do it.
yeah.
So yeah,
it's-
the space, the time, the money,
yeah.
because
Luckily,
wowza.
the barrier to entry to entirely obliterating my home and turning it into a war zone and a demolition derby
has been too high.
has been too high because I am an ADHD and I would absolutely start that project and then
And then
lose
flutter away.
interest
Goodbye.
and never finish the project. And I would be left with a half wall. I'd be left with drywall ripped out of everywhere. Instead, I'll just keep doing things like buying more sewing, knitting, crochet. I've always wanted to try macrame. Guess who wants to get into tatting? That's not that expensive. Like,
Oh my God. In the last week and a half, I have decided that I am going to recommit to roller skating and that I am going to become a resin artist and a stained
my
glass artist and a mosaic artist. And I'm probably going to rearrange my whole life in order to do that as well as gardening. Who knows? Who knows? And we haven't been parking in the garage because we've had some work done on it. And so I've been able to go in. Michael was so funny because I just sort of like quietly left the house and he saw that I had a bag with me and I just didn't say anything. I was just like, oh, goodbye. Go out there. And then when I came back in, he looked at me and he had that look on his face where he thinks I'm very cute, but he like doesn't want to tip me off that he thinks I'm very cute. And so I was like, it's nice because I can practice my roller skating. And he was like, oh yeah, I saw the light was on in there and I looked and I saw your little helmet bobbing around through the thing.
you have roller skates?
Yeah.
How did I not know that about you?
I don't know. I got
What
it
the
them a while ago.
Fuck. Melody?
I'm not good. I'm still a little fawn on my new legs on roller skates. I think I need to loosen my trucks. I'm not sure.
Wow. Well, what I'm hearing is that I will pay the most insane amount of money to bring my roller skates when I come visit you,
Yeah.
and we'll go swan
Go
around.
to a roller
in
skating
your-
rink.
Oh, that works too. I was saying we were going to go swan around your garage.
I mean, I would, but it's already too small just for me. So putting a whole other adult human in there, don't think it's a great idea, you know?
What
So,
I'm
yeah.
hearing is you just need to repave your whole driveway, and then you can have a little mini roller rink.
There's an incline on it.
Oh, the whole
And
way
so it's
down.
very scary right now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
very
Let's not do
scary.
that. Then. Let's not do that. I'll put it this way. Even when I was like at the peak of my roller skating journey, like when I was like really into derby, I was terrified of skate parks. Like the people
I will never enter a skate park.
the people on
Never.
skates who are capable of going into a bowl, because I'll go to a skate park and just like tootle around on the edges. But like the people who can drop into a bowl, I would need
I don't understand
full
it.
body bubble wrap.
Yeah, for sure. I don't like I actually can't understand with the comprehending part of my brain. I cannot understand how a person makes that decision.
Well, also, I'm very aware of the fact that if I go in there, I'm never going to make it back out.
No, how do you get out?
I've always felt that. Oh my God. So when I was a kid, I went to a skate park with my friends because I actually skateboarded.
Yeah.
And I was sitting on the edge of the bowl and I dropped something. And so instead of letting one of my
gone
friends who
forever.
was used to going down there go get it, I did go down there to grab it.
Okay.
And it took a very long time to get me back out of the bowl. I was very little and very young.
Yeah.
And I was like,
And like you didn't pack 8 yards of rope.
Or
Like-
I didn't even pack any survival gear to live down there.
Truly,
I would have
truly.
just, in the heat of the Southern California sun, been waiting for the water to fall from the sky once or twice a year, like a little fucking baby bird. God,
Oh,
I would
my
die.
God.
I would just die down there. This is where I live now. Somebody take care of my dogs.
No, I hear you.
Can you please bring me my recording equipment and Kindle? Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to be able to like do some cool like sort of dance moves. You know, I wanted to be that kind of roller skater where I'm comfortable enough to go forwards and backwards and like do one of those
a little
turnarounds where you
spinny
you
spin.
put your feet out. Yeah, one of those. That's all I want. I don't need anything. I don't want to go fast. I don't want to go downhill. I don't want to do anything like that at all. I have no interest. So I think that's a very achievable goal.
How apropos that you are back into roller skating and we read the book that we did.
Yes, absolutely. Although it only happens one tiny time
It made
and
me
it
very
manages
sad.
to make itself on the cover. I thought we were going to have a lot more roller skating
I
in
did
this
too.
book.
I thought there was gonna be roller derby in this book because of the roller
Sure.
skate.
Absolutely. Wait. But before that, we need to shout out a bunch of people who may or may not be into roller skating. And that is patrons.
Heck yeah.
Okay, so we're going to shout out some people who are part of the Patreon. So, hey, thank you so much for supporting us and being incredible. Olivia M. and Veronica,
Stephanie M. and Robin K.
Emily and Riley M.,
Marta O. and Taishira D.
Meredith B. and Meredith S.
Evan and Megan B.
Hey!
Thank you. Hello.
Thank you for being part of the Patreon. We adore you and we're so thankful.
Yes, 10,000%. So, guess what, listener? Before we get started, we have a couple of fun events coming up. This episode is coming out like a week or two before our author hang with M.A. Wardell. We will be doing Drag Race trivia. Mel's in charge of it this time because I've never watched Drag Race.
I've never watched Drag Race.
Great. Awesome.
We're going in blind.
That's fine. I actually already reached out to my friends who do watch Drag Race.
Perfect.
And they are coming in hot with some great recommendations for thingamabobs.
Fab.
So yeah, that's going to be fun. That's happening on June 21st at 7 CST, 8 EST. And then I went into the Discord. We had already scheduled this and put in a little poll for voting to be if people were up for 2 live hangs in a row. And you know what? Most people said, fuck it, let's go.
Let's go.
So on June 28th, what are we continuing, Melody?
Oh, we're continuing my millennial education because apparently I don't know anything about being a millennial. We're watching the Lizzie McGuire movie because I've actually never seen it.
Hillary Duff was my first crush. Hillary Duff was my first concert. Hillary Duff, like, I have such fond memories of that concert, especially because it was a stadium of screaming 5 and 6-year-old girls and just a bunch of dads.
Yeah, that's it.
Including
That's
my dad standing next to me. And like, it's one of my fondest memories because he listened to the song enough because of me, like that album, that he was like, let the rain fall down. And he was like singing along and like bopping. And it was great.
I love that. Oh
So
my God.
I'm very excited about
I'm
this.
stoked about it. Listen, She's the Man was really good. I really enjoyed it. And now I understand a lot of jokes that have gone way over my head up until
Your whole life.
Yeah, my whole life. Yeah. So anyway, those are the 2 fun June events that we're doing, and I'm super stoked about it. Okay, though, now we have to talk about a book that didn't have very much roller skating in it.
But it was I very much enjoyed book in spite of the lack of roller skating.
Yeah. No, the cover makes promises that the text does not deliver, but that's okay. So, okay, listen, this is a contemporary. This is a lady-loving lady book. It's a fake relationship.
There's a lot of tropes in this book.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, for sure. So when we come in, one of our main characters is getting dumped 5 minutes before her engagement party starts. And that's like, I don't know. I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could live through that. That's bold.
If I was the dumper, I could not go through with it. I would just...
Nope. I'd go through the whole party.
Oh, see, I would go through the whole party. I'd get married. I'd end up with 2.5 children and a white picket fence. Like, if I got through you would have to do something truly abominable to me if I make it through the engagement party, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like,
that's fair.
And it's not because of appearances, right? Like, it's not because I'm not worried about the appearances. It's the person. Like, I've given
It's
7
the promise
years of
that I did. Yeah, like we're in this. It's
We're in
the
this
sunk
now.
cost fallacy is what it is.
And if I was the dumpy, I'd be like, we're going
My life is over.
through the party.
No.
It would turn into a breakup party, frankly. We would get a lot of fucking liquor.
Yes.
Like,
Absolutely.
It would, you know what? We're already here. We're already catered. We're already...
Yeah.
Like, we already have the stuff to make a party. This is officially a breakup party. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, and you know what? You're not invited. This is my party now. This is a party for me.
You know what?
You don't get to be here. Goodbye.
That is beautiful. I was imagining them being there, and we're all just...
Listen, I think that for me and mine, I would be like, get the fuck out.
I've had some relationships where I legitimately think, because not
you
all
could
of my
be around
breakups,
them.
yeah, well, all of my breakups haven't been bad, and so like
Yeah.
I can think of at least one where like if we had gotten to this point and then decided to break up, we'd be like, well, let's party.
Well, okay. So first of all, I think it would have the way that the dumpy feels about it, right? Because the dumpy in this scenario didn't see it coming at all. She's completely and utterly blindsided.
Her name is Claire. She's our heroine, one of our heroines.
Yeah.
And like, frankly, Abby did this in a terrible way.
Oh my God. Yes. My whole thing is you tried to ruin the party. You did ruin the party, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now this is now my party because
Mm-hmm.
you're the ruiner of parties and I get to do whatever I want now. And that's why they would need to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, this is mine now. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So Abby is the ex-fiance, and she comes up to Claire and says, we need to talk. And Claire, jokingly, is like, because she's a psychologist, she's a couples
She's a couples counselor.
Yeah. And she has written a book about the magic of lasting relationships or something like that.
The 7 secrets to a lasting relationship.
Something like that. And in one of the chapters, she literally says, you cannot start a conversation with we need to talk. She's like, oh, ha, ha. Last week, I literally told a couple, you can't start a relationship with we need to, ha, ha. There are better ways to say that. And Abby's like, no, but Claire, we
have to talk.
We need to talk. And Claire's like,
we're down
okay.
to the wire here.
Okay, well,
our party's about to start.
Everyone's about to start. What do you need to talk about? And Abby's like, I love you, but I'm not in
love with you.
And Claire is like, but what?
Yeah.
Pardon?
Yeah, and so for Claire, because she is like, she comes from money, she's very structured, she's very buttoned up, she really cares about appearances. You know, the amount of diet culture that was in this book was hard for me.
Yes.
I don't think I could have continued reading it had it not been for the podcast. So yeah, like she's regimented is our Claire. And so not only is this a personal loss, but it's also a stain on her professional reputation because she's trying to be a person that can give out advice on how to have a lasting relationship.
Okay.
And her fiance is basically leaving her at the altar.
I have so many bing boom bongs in this book and questions. But continue.
No, and so like that's the big thing is like, what are we going to tell everybody? And Abby says, "Well, you're the one who cares about appearances." And it's like,
Fuck you, Abby.
Yeah.
Well, and it also, so
like-
apparently the reason Abby's breaking up with her is because Claire is too busy. And like, I get that. Like, this is a valid reason to break up with somebody. But she can't handle how busy Claire is and how much of a workaholic she is or the micromanagement. And it's just not working for her anymore.
Right.
And then Claire's like, well, what if we do couples therapy? And Abby's like, no, I've made the decision.
No, Abby says that you're such a control freak. I don't want you telling our couples counselor how to do their job.
Yeah.
Like, yikes. And don't get me wrong, listener, the first 10% of this book, I fucking hate Claire. Claire is insufferable.
Yeah.
The first like 10 to 15% of this book, she's mean. She's
Judgmental.
rigid. She's judgmental. She triggers
Very
me
stuck in
on
her
personal
ways.
levels. Yep. Very stuck in her ways. Like it's a lot. So I don't blame Abby at all. But like, if you know that you're already going to be breaking this person's heart and blindsiding them, like if you know that they don't know there's a problem in your relationship and Abby confesses to that, then like, don't also compound it by making it another thing that they hate by being like, I know everybody's going to be showing up to our house and at the door, you are going to have to tell them Abby dumped me. Like, this is a nightmare on so many levels.
I don't know that I could answer the door.
Right? I think I would, you know what? I think I would put a sign.
I would call a friend and be like, I need you to handle this because I need to go. I'm leaving my own house.
Fair. I think I would put up a sign that had like a picture of a plague mask on it, being like, the people in here are sick and you can't come in. Stay away for your own safety.
Sick with love.
Yeah. So they're lovesick and heartbroken.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's that. And like, because she's trying to publish this book, she realizes that she and her agent realize that the publishers will not consider her if she isn't in a healthy relationship. And so they decide to hire an actress to play her fiance for the next 2 months or so.
Like 2 to 4 months, depending on how things go. Okay.
I have so many
I have a
questions about
question.
this. Yeah.
How? Okay. And this was never really answered in this book. Bing, boom, bong.
Okay.
Knowing things about your partner after 7 years.
Okay.
Because bing, boom, bong, telling different stories to different people.
To different people.
All of her friends and family know Abby or know Lana. So we're jumping ahead, but know Lana now or this theoretical fiance that she's going to be hiring as her girlfriend because they all knew Abby.
Yeah.
And she's going to go publicly. She's going to have to do a publicity campaign for this publisher with her 7-year-old relationship fiance that is going to be broadcast. You think your friends and family aren't going to see that you are passing off this person as somebody you've been with for 7 years?
You don't think your colleagues are going to clock the fact that you're trying to pass this person off as somebody you've been with for 7 years? Like, her colleagues also know Abby. And one of her whole things, she has this like work nemesis and she's trying to like do more than work nemesis so that she can take over this counseling practice someday.
Do
And
you
it's like,
Do you
Well,
also feel like there was
what's the
no
plan
closure with work and Nemesis? I feel like
absolutely.
that plot line was just never tidied up.
You know what? I was thinking about this earlier today because I couldn't decide if I liked it or if I didn't like it and why or why not, you know? And I think I finally came down to I liked it because narratively, it's something that I want to like be buttoned up, right? I expected the big conflict, like, you know, the climax to be this work colleague finding out. And that didn't happen either. But it also feels so much more real to just be like, yeah, I have a work nemesis and like, that's not going to change.
Nothing ever came from it.
Yeah. Like sometimes you just have nemesis and sometimes there's not even a conflict. Sometimes they just peter out, you know, like you forget they exist or whatever. Vanessa changes practices, whatever. So yeah, anyway, but it was a big old red herring.
Yes.
And I, kind of resented that.
Claire agrees to this bonkers ass plan, which is the first extremely out of character thing that she does in this book.
Yeah.
Apropos of nothing except panic. Because because now what she feels like is now that she doesn't have her relationship, this book is the only important thing in her life. This book becomes her entire personality for a very solid little while. And by a solid little while, I mean a lot of the book.
Most of the book, yeah.
Yes.
So at this point, Abby broke up with her 2 months ago. And they're going to hold auditions and do a chemistry test, just like you would if you were casting a TV show or whatever. So they try to keep the circle small because it has to remain a secret. And like, this is another thing that like, it ends up having to be this way for romance reasons. But like, in what world do you have to convince your friends and family and everybody else when like the publisher, they live in LA, the publisher is in New York? You know, it's like you have to go to one meeting where this person pretends to be your fiance because they move in together. These two strangers, this employee and the boss, move in together.
Yeah, let's fucking talk about these power dynamics. But like, you're talking about the friends and family. I feel like I can't tell what's worse, just not telling anybody and they find out you have a quote unquote fiance.
Right.
From
or
all
telling
of
them
the
that you're doing a
publicity,
sham. Right.
Or faking it. Or
all of it sucks. All of it sucks.
And like, it's not even tied up in a way that satisfied me, you know?
No, they never really have to confront it because they end up being together at the end.
Yeah,
you know?
But there's a whole paragraph that I
decide
highlighted of them tying up loose ends, quote unquote. But like, those aren't loose ends. They're also missing like 3 feet of length to even touch.
Well, yeah, they're also not loose ends. They're people. They're your loved ones, you know? And so like they decide to go the rest of their life without cluing in 2 of their besties on how they actually got together. They're just continuing
also
with the charade forever, the charade.
I'm going to tell you right now, Melody, I could not keep a secret like that for the rest of my life.
There's no way. There's no way I could do that at all. I don't even know that I could do it during the thing.
If
I
my
was
best
Claire.
friend would know.
Yes.
Like, you know how in Devon and Chris, when like the sister and
you
the
get
best
one
friend,
person.
that you can tell everything.
That was one of my favorite things. The show in Devon and Chris allows them one confidant who knows that it's a fake relationship and that they're doing the show. And that was really, really smart. And like, nobody had that here. Nobody had that here at all.
Well, it's
until
also
like
necessary.
sort of the end.
I'm going to be honest. Fucking everybody knows my business. If you can't tell by the fact that I tell you deeply personal things on a podcast that goes out to a bazillion people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't do just one person.
No.
I would need a conglomerate.
I need a sampling, a really healthy sampling of the population to know that the answers I'm getting are good.
So anyway, casting call time.
Yeah. So Lana comes in and she's like, this is weird because no other actresses are here. There's no script. So I guess they want me to improv. Good thing I'm good at improv. And as she goes in, there's like two ladies there. And she's like, okay, this, Claire is wooden as hell. Obviously, she knows somebody in the production because otherwise she would not have gotten this job. And then the agent is like, all we want you to do is to show us if you can convince us that like you're in love with Claire here. So like, go ahead. And Lana is like, okay, I'm not getting you can kiss me vibes off this lady. Like I'm getting I'll punch you if you kiss me vibes. So she goes over and like, bats her eyelashes and grabs her hand and like blows on her wrist kind of and like kisses her wrist or something. And then Claire is like, okay, we're done. Oh, okay. All right. Cool. And then she finds out that the job is like, it's just a personal thing. There is no movie. There's no TV show.
Can't put it on a resume, but guess what?
No.
There is $50,000 on the line.
And like,
I would do that.
Yeah. Here I am.
I would do that for 2 or 3 months. Are you kidding?
Look at me go.
Yeah. Let's fucking go.
Absolutely. But like, it does make no sense because she has to move in. She agrees to not do any other acting gigs during that time, which like, why? Like if
nobody can
if you're
know
trying
that she's
to
an
pass
actor.
But that's stupid because she could just be dating an actor.
It's
what I mean?
Literally LA. You cannot spit without hitting 3 actors.
Yes, exactly.
And it's not even like they mentioned this. It's not even like it's an Angelina Jolie. You know what I mean? It's not like a household name. This is just a person who's been in a couple of commercials. I have friends who have been in commercials. I had no idea they've been in commercials. I've never seen that commercial. You know what I mean? Like nobody would know. Nobody would know.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so now we get to the part that I had a really hard time with. Because listen,
just
guys,
one part?
No, well, this is the thing that I would, as just a reader, DNF over.
DNF'd. I know exactly what you're talking about because I possibly would have DNF'd for the exact same reason.
Yeah. So when we switch to Claire's perspective, Claire is very like, she is fat. She has tattoos everywhere. She's obviously not my type. She is blah, 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 blah. Like there are so many reasons why
she's showing off her scars.
She's showing off her scars. And one of her tattoos is this beautiful image of a phoenix rising from the ashes, basically, and the talons are holding on to the scar that's on her arm.
That tattoo
that's gorgeous.
Would hurt so fucking bad.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that tattoo would be miserable.
Brutal. Yeah.
Yikes. But anyway, so, and here's my thing. I feel like the author attempted to mitigate the fat phobia of one of the characters by, making Lana incredibly proud of her body as it is, and making it so the other heroine ends up loving her body as it is. But I didn't find that very believable. Because the other character doesn't go on any kind of journey where she accepts her own body as it is. And I know it's easier to do for other people than it is for yourself a lot of times. But also, this level of fat phobia in a written character, for me, Melody, I need fat to not be a bad word. And it is in this book because it's never used.
Yeah, she keeps
Lana
saying curvy.
is only curvy.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so curvy.
And her
and like
once they're finally together, it's like the softness. And
Right.
it's all
Yeah, but there's no
it's all
rolls.
talked
There's no
around.
jiggles.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like, I would want Lana to be proud to be a fat person. And so I'm going to be honest with you. I have a history of disordered eating. This was pretty triggering for me. And it made me really mad throughout most of the book because it felt like it was trying to be non-judgmental while being incredibly judgmental. At one point, Lana is talking to her mom, and her mom is laying out this vegan feast of like tofu and bean sprouts, and like everything is incredibly low fat, incredibly quote unquote healthy. It's like all health food. And then her mom says, just apropos of nothing, I noticed Claire gained weight. And you're in Lana's perspective, and Lana says, like, I can't tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So I just say,
she's looking
she's
healthier.
gotten a lot. Yeah, she's gotten a lot healthier since I moved in. Can you believe she was only eating like an apple for dinner before I moved in? And like, listener, that's not healthy. There is a difference between diet eating and healthy eating. There is a difference. And this book tried, I feel like, to communicate that and missed the mark by a mile in a way that because that never comes back. We never hear whether or not the mom, who is incredibly thin, thinks about Claire's weight gain, if there even is a considerable weight gain or any, frankly. Like,
Yeah, we don't see the weight gain on page.
No,
It's just that
not
her
at
mom
all.
noticed the one time.
And then that's it. And like, we notice that every once in a while, Claire will eat carbs after 6 because of Lana's influence.
So, and what got me with all of this is that I feel like we don't see enough because she's still working out. She's still doing all these things. She's still eating
No,
healthy.
she doesn't work out.
No, not working out. But like we see her.
We see her counting calories. We literally see her counting calories.
Really?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Well, she says when Lana makes her pancakes, she says these have got to be 1,000 calories each. And Lana says, I bet they are. And then like takes a really unapologetic bite. And like
it was hard.
Here's the thing. I see what the book was trying to do. And for me, with my history as a reader, I needed a lot more body positivity to counteract the amount of calorie counting and diet culture and rigid rules surrounding eating and not being able to tell the difference between diet food and healthy eating and like all of that. I needed a lot more because all of the other stuff
Was triggering as hell.
was really triggering. Yeah. For me.
That makes sense.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. So coming from the opposite side of it, so I don't have that kind of disordered eating past, and it was still a lot. Like I have a lot of issues just in general with body image and things like that, and like seeing other. This felt, frankly, growing up in Southern California, just outside of LA, this was very true to form. And no, like I knew these people, and we've all known these people, but like living
In that culture.
it tracked. Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and the fact that
I mean,
Lana,
like, Claire's,
I think
Claire's
that Lana,
clothes never fit any differently, even
think-
with this supposed weight gain.
yeah. Well, and with all of this, the fact that like it was not obviously it wasn't an immediate DNF. Also, we were reading it for pod, so like that's a whole different ball game. Sometimes we read stuff that's fucking triggering as hell, right?
Yeah.
For whatever reason. And it tracked the launch because I did not take when she was described. Like I didn't take it as I don't know how to put this into words. I don't think I
That's
can
fine.
put it into words.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, it seemed like it bothered you less. And so if that's what you're trying to communicate, don't worry about, me.
No, that's fine. There was a deeper thing I was trying to communicate because it did bother me less. I don't have the same history with calorie counting. I have my own history of disordered eating is a very, very different kind of disordered eating. And it's all like, it's a different kind of mental health issue, right? It's just not eating. And it's not because I was trying to lose weight. Yeah. It's not eating for other reasons.
Sure.
So like books with that kind of thing are not triggering in the same way. Like I clock it and I'll DNF a book over it if I feel like it's not being treated appropriately.
Yeah.
Or not appropriately, but adequately, both.
And to that point, I will say that it's a very personal thing. For I could have an idea of what treating it appropriately is, and it would be different from somebody else. But for me, if you're going to give specifics on like calorie counting or size, at one point, I fucking hated this. At one point, they go into a boutique to buy a dress for Lana, and the salesperson literally looks at Claire and says, "Oh, so you're like a size 6? Like that's what I should look for?" And then they say, "Oh, no, it's not for me. It's for Lana." And then they never say what size. So like what size
I did notice that,
is appropriate? Like what is acceptable? Like why if you can say size 6, you can say size 18. Or is also 12 fat to you?
I was just about to pop in and say so I clocked that boutique scene because the kind of boutique that they are describing going to in Southern California, the highest that they're going to have is maybe a 10 or a 12.
I know. Yeah. And that's considered
plus size.
Yeah. But it with a negative connotation.
Yeah. No, this is what I'm saying. This is like America's Next Top Model version of plus size, right? This is a plus size model. And it's like, that's not.
No, that's a lady.
That's just a person.
Like that's just a really hot lady, and like. Yeah. And that's not to say that somebody who's a size 22 as a plus size model couldn't be a really hot lady. But I want to know what Claire is an acceptable amount of fat. Because she's so concerned about it. And they get so specific.
And she's concerned about it the whole way through of the book. Like she ends up finding out realizing that she loves Lana's body. But like it took
close to 2.5 months.
Yeah.
To get there, first of all. I mean, she has like sexy feelings about her or like affectionate feelings.
Questioning it because she's like, that's not my type. That's not my type. That's not my type.
Because she wants a twin. Abby was basically another rail thin blonde lady with like blue eyes and a really good job or whatever. And that's what she thinks she wants and needs. And
I think that a big part of that is I'm not going to crucify, and I don't think you are either, but I'm not going to crucify Claire for this because it sounds like she has always been surrounded by those people.
Oh yeah.
So like what you are surrounded by is what you are going to be quote unquote attracted to because you don't really have another choice, right? Like you have to either just not be attracted to anybody or decide that this is acceptable for you. And then essentially you're indoctrinated into thinking a certain type of person is beautiful, even if there are other people out there. I'll bet you, oh my God, I would bet you that Claire never, except in therapy, in counseling sessions, she doesn't even interact with anybody that is not white and rail thin and dressed to the nines 24/7. She owns one pair of jeans. Like this is not, she lives in a completely different
stratosphere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like I can see her being like, oh, actually.
Oh shit, the world is bigger than I allowed myself to think. And that's essentially what happens with Lana because at first she's like, nobody will believe I'm with this woman. In like a bad way. And then later on, part of her heroine's journey is figuring out that having somebody opposite to her can be really fulfilling, and like learning that her Lana's quirks and Lana's differences are a good thing.
That is why ultimately in the end, I ended up really enjoying Book, and she was redeemed, right? Like, but I don't have the same triggers that you do. And so I would have been able to push past all of that a lot easier, right?
Yeah.
So like,
yeah, overall, I enjoyed Book. I think my issue is that I didn't enjoy it enough to completely overshadow all the bullshit that was triggering, you know?
And that,
so like Book is fine. Book is good, but like it didn't do, I just, for me, I can't.
And that's okay.
Yeah. Long story short, listener, if shit like that is as triggering for you as it is for me, just know going in to either don't read the book and like don't recommend it to pals that, you know, have similar triggers, you know, like just know that there's a lot more of it than I have seen in most books that were written in 2018 and after. That's when this was written. And like, I was shocked that it was written in 2018 when I saw.
I did not realize it was written in 2018.
Yeah.
Reading this book, I fully thought that this was an early 2010s.
Yeah. Okay, so Lana takes the job. Lana moves in. Claire is so unprepared. And this made no sense too, because throughout the rest of the book, she's like, I need to be prepared for everything. And yet when Lana's friends help her move in with boxes, she still has a picture of Abby on her bedside table. Also, like, is that just me or is that weird?
That's weird.
Right? Having a picture of the person that you're literally next to in bed on the bedside table, it feels weird to me.
Is it so you can look at their face no matter which direction you're turned? Like,
or like if is it so that when they wake up like bleary-eyed and mascara down to their chin and like, you know, all the ways
you
and
can
like
turn
hair,
around and see them beautifully put together?
Yeah. And be like, they look like that most of the time. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh my God, that's awful.
This monster beside me will fix itself.
Fix itself. God, that's awful. So oh God, this whole moving in experience was a nightmare because Lana moves in. Lana and Claire have not discussed physical intimacy. They have not discussed how they're going to be around each other. Claire is like, why did you bring your friends into this? Because she pulls Lana away into the guest bedroom and then realizes, oh, they can't move your boxes into the guest bedroom.
Right.
They should be going, and which I did not understand that because I don't want a bunch of boxes in the master bedroom. We'll put your shit while it's unpacked or while it's packed in the guest bedroom.
Oh, okay. And then like do it box by box as you want it.
And do it box by box. That's how I've always done packing. One room is the the packed boxes room.
Interesting.
And then you pull a box out at a time.
That's really smart, actually.
And well, no, it's not, because then what happens is you get
that just ends up being the
what happens
box
is
room.
you get unpacked enough to survive. And then everything just stays packed. And then you end up with a box that hasn't been unpacked since 2014 that's still inside of the house that you own, that you've lived in for 2.5, almost 3 years, and you still haven't fully unpacked. Not that I would know from experience, having a box that hasn't been unpacked for 10 years.
You know what? Honestly, you should just not open it and give it away.
I cannot fucking do that. I cannot fucking.
Yeah, that's fair.
Theoretically,
I've met you.
Hypothetically, theoretically,
right.
in theory,
whoever this person is.
If I had a box like that, I wouldn't be able to just throw it away. Theoretically, I would have thought about doing that because
you literally haven't needed anything in the box for 10 years.
Theoretically.
Theoretically. Whoever this
But
person
also,
is.
theoretically, you don't need what's in that box. Maybe you don't know that you need
It's
something
true.
that's in that
Maybe
box.
there's something really handy that you just forgot about, and your life would be easier if you had it.
Or maybe it's something sentimental that you don't want to look at, that you just want to live in that box, you know?
That's okay. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
This sentimental, theoretical thing that
Totally.
you don't even remember what it is and may not remember what the sentiment is, but you know that there's something about it that's important, theoretically.
It just feels vaguely important in a theoretical sense.
God. Anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Well, here's my other thing. Claire, she's like, Claire, okay, listen. Claire is so self-centered in the first 70% of this book. And it like makes me question her professional capacity. Because at this point, she looks at Lana and she's like, why did you bring your friends into this? We agreed that nobody would know. Do they know? And she's like, no, I signed an NDA. I told her that you're my girlfriend and that we're moving in. And she's like, oh, why would you do that? And Lana goes, well, I couldn't very well move and not tell them. You know, like it would be weird for my best friends to show up at my old house and then be like, Lana, you moved.
question.
And this is the first time Claire's thought of it.
That is true. I have a question, a logistics question. And
Okay.
actually, it's just like maybe just a mistake in the book.
Okay.
It is stated very clearly when she's moving out that she has a roommate who will be
a studio.
staying there.
And then later on it's a studio.
And specifically, it's a studio with nothing but a mini fridge and a hot plate.
Yeah.
Okay, you caught that too? Because I was
Yes.
like, what?
I could see
fuck?
maybe one bedroom and you use the living
share
space as whatever.
A studio apartment with somebody, which, like, frankly, based on California rent prices, that tracks for a barista.
No, people do
and
that in
out
New
of
York.
work. Yeah, like for a barista and an out of work actress, and then whatever the fuck her friend does, like that tracks. But also, like,
There are people in New York who will find roommates with opposite schedules because they just take shifts in the apartment, in like the studio apartment.
that is literally
Isn't that bananas?
my worst nightmare.
I know. You just have a shadow self.
You have to understand. No,
occupies the apartment.
that is literally my worst nightmare, because this is something it's taken a lot of years to learn about myself. But I'm not a jealous person, but I am an extremely territorial person.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, and like I've had shit happen in the past where I essentially peed on my friends, right? As a territorial thing. But also it applies to my space. So for example, people are like, oh yeah. So like what Claire is doing, moving Lana into her house. No, that's my living room. That's my kitchen. I would react just like everything Lana does that even minutely affects the space
Yeah.
would enrage me.
Well, and I think it's really bold of Lana just to be like, I'm putting my butt on everything, you know?
Yeah. But like, if I was Claire, we'd have to go all in, and we would be selling my house and buying a house that is ours, right? Because then it's our living room.
Right.
Our kitchen. You know what I mean? Like this idea that they're just moving her.
Yeah, because Lana is pretty, she's very messy. She's clean, but she's messy. And that drives Claire nuts because she likes everything to be pristinely orderly. And one of the other things that didn't make any sense to me, especially as a couples counselor, is like, instead of saying something to Lana, she calls her agent to be like, she's doing all these things in my house. And like, isn't Counselor 101 setting boundaries? Wouldn't you just
So,
be like, hey,
Mel,
we're roommates now. Here are the
I'm
boundaries?
gonna let you in on a secret.
Okay.
Claire cannot step outside of herself and look at herself.
Okay.
This is shown 18 gazillion times.
That's
Because
true.
she is not a good, and it's stated in book multiple times that she's like, why can't I, like, I'm a fucking counselor. What am I doing? All blah, 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 blah. So, like, even when she can recognize it, she cannot do the things, because I think I'm not shocked that Abby and Claire broke up. I am not shocked
Yeah.
Claire didn't realize there was an issue, because
Absolutely.
Claire can look out, but she cannot look in.
Ooh, yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. It just seemed like something that was so straightforward. I understand being a couples counselor and still having relationship problems because it's hard to say scary things, or like, you know, you don't see a dynamic or whatever.
Well, it's also, this is a dance, right? There's
Right.
two or more people involved. It's not just you. I think that if Claire could be in a relationship with just Claire, and frankly, I think Claire should take some time off between relationships, according to her own fucking book. Frankly, I think Claire, after a 7-year relationship, needs to sit down and take a hard look at herself and her life. Not that she would if she took a break, but I think that she needs to.
Yeah.
But Claire cannot look in and acknowledge things or do things. She's very much a do as I say, not as I do person. Okay. Which is why it's so
Absolutely.
hilarious to me. Also, this idea that she's going to be basically publicly stalked by all of these people who read her book, and they're going to be so interested in her personal life. Like, that's not, I've never once considered, because I've read some self-help books. I've never Googled that person. They could entirely be a practice what I say or practice what I preach and not as I do. I would have no idea.
No, totally.
They could be like, this is how you go from couch to 5K. And they've never ran a step in their life. They've never even touched a weight. They've never worked out before, like, or done cardio. I would have no fucking idea. And I'd be like,
No.
let's fucking do couch to 5K. Let's go.
Totally. Totally. Well, yeah, because the authority is published book. You know?
Yeah.
You
and
make
that's why
a lot
she
of
wants a traditional
assumptions.
publisher.
Exactly.
See, if she was a self-published like Vanessa is, yeah, I'd be looking.
But as a regular consumer, you normally don't know shit like that.
Yeah, the people who are going to be buying this book are not going to be
No.
aware
They have no
of that.
idea whether it's a trad published book or a not. If they're doing like an Amazon, which everybody does now.
Well, especially because, like, I'm sure that this publishing company is a small one, right? It's also fictional. It's fake. I don't remember what it's called. Washerwomen or something like that. I don't know.
I like it. Whistleworm press. I don't know.
Whistleworm press. Yeah, that works. It's a small publishing company. This book is a risk for them, which means it's not a fucking Berkeley. You're not going to you're going to have to do research to know whether this is a publishing company or just a self-publishing author who creates an indie publishing company that only covers like a single book and it's their book.
That's true.
Like,
I didn't even think about that.
You can be a publishing company of one, my friend.
Absolutely.
Also, frankly, this idea that Claire has to take, even if she does go self-publish, she's going to have to take it all on herself. Ma'am, you're paying $50,000 for 2 or 3 months of having a paid actress. Guess what?
You can hire a marketing firm real easy.
You would have the easiest self-pub journey.
Oh my God.
In the entire world. You wouldn't have to lift a finger. You would, because you need control, but like,
sure.
you don't have to.
Right. Well, but that's my thing about stuff like roommate issues. As a control freak, I feel like it would be really easy for Claire to be like, this is my space. This is how things work here. It's not an emotional entanglement. It's just like, really?
No, because I'll bet growing up with her 2 psychiatrist parents,
Yeah.
they never had to have that conversation. It was just an unspoken, like, or like it was done immediate, like it was, and very clinically.
They always had staff. Because they like live in a mansion and,
Yeah,
or, you know,
exactly.
they've always had money.
And if they ever did have to discuss boundaries, it was clinical. It took approximately 0.05 seconds and then it was done. And it was just understood that this is how things are. And then she went from that and probably immediately started getting into relationships with people exactly like her, like Abby, who Abby is also, she's not going to be like splashing oil on the backsplash. She's also not going to be leaving stuff around the living room. She's not like they are so living compatible that boundaries were never had to be made. Like they never had, she never had to make boundaries. She just doesn't have, she doesn't know how to make a boundary. What? Claire doesn't make a boundary in this entire fucking book that isn't put into a contract by her freaking agent.
I mean, that's the thing though, but maybe I'm expecting too much from counselors. But it's just like if a regular ass person can be like, I don't want to leave dishes in the sink overnight. Why can't she when like she literally counsels people through stuff like I don't want dishes left in the sink overnight on page?
Because guess what? This counselor does not have a counselor. Guess what?
Yeah, that's true.
Therapists need therapists too. Like, you need somebody else. Again, Claire can look outside, but she has no practice looking in.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. All right, fair enough. So anyway, she moves in. She starts putting her butt on everything. Like, there's just shit on the counter. She's making stuff in the kitchen. We have to hear 8 dozen times that Claire doesn't eat carbs after 6. And then they decide that they need a photo shoot.
I would like to make a comment, though.
Okay.
Because this was a big thing for me, personally.
Okay.
Is I don't do carbs after 6. And then the shock that wine has carbs.
What?
Claire?
As a perma dieter?
Not only that, well, but I'm sure that screams wine mom to me. And the whole wine mom, vodka aunt, jokey.
I've never heard these terms. What are we talking about?
Okay, well, we're not going to dive into vodka aunt because frankly, I don't have an issue with vodka aunt. Wine mom is these moms who, it's been such a long day taking care of the kids that I need a glass of wine to deal with it. I need wine. Like, I am a parentally induced alcohol fiend.
Alcoholic. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I need a bottle of wine every night to deal with the fact that I have a family.
Okay. Yeah.
And Claire doesn't have kids, but this reeks of that. If Claire had children with Abby, Claire would need a bottle of wine to deal with the fact that she has children.
Oh, yeah.
Even though she definitely has a full-time nanny that takes care of them and a full house of staff to handle the fact that children are messy. If Claire is not a wine mom as a mom at the beginning of this book, I will eat my own goddamn foot.
Well, no, because it does seem like that, right? She doesn't do carbs after 6, but she will have what she says is a glass of wine. And
they make some big glasses out there.
No, totally.
Not that she would own, though. She would have the classy actual glasses that she fills like an inch and a half.
A teensy bit.
Yeah. She's like, this, the actual serving size of a glass of wine, right? Like, not the rest of us who are like,
who do
2 or 3 servings.
Glug.
Yeah, 2 or 3 servings per glass. And we're like, oh, this is a glass of wine. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but from the diet culture standpoint, Claire knows that there's carbs in there. Claire knows it's all sugar. Claire knows exactly how many calories is in there. Claire knows all of that shit. And the fact that she's like, what? I can't have wine after 6 because it's carbs? Like, she would just say alcohol doesn't count. Wine doesn't count. That's all she would say. But instead, she acts shocked about it. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
No, that's why she eats the apple and drinks the smoothie, is to save the carbs for the wine.
Yes, exactly.
Which, to be clear, that is not healthy.
It's really tough to be healthy like that.
It's bad.
You know, it's really tough to mitigate that in the rest of your day to try.
We got a motor.
Healthy.
We have gone on so many tangents, important tangents, but like.
Yeah, no, this is a book that we're going to talk about a few events that happened in the middle, and we're going to go on tangents along the way, and then we're going to tell them how it ends. Exactly. About themes that happen in the book. So the next one is they decide that they need a photo shoot because they don't have any pictures of each other, which also makes no fucking sense. Because the reason that Lana brings this up is because she's like, hey, I was trying to show my sister asked to see a picture of you today and I didn't have one. And so she's like, how about I take a couple selfies? And then Claire says, oh, that's not going to do it.
Professional photo shoot.
I'm so sorry, Sabrina. If you had a new person in your life and I was like, can I see a picture? And then you sent back like a photo shoot photo of you and the person. That. I would think that was the weirdest thing in the entire world. Like, Claire, you need the selfie and the professional photo shoot, but the professional one is only to send to the publisher or put on Facebook or something, because Claire's on Facebook.
Or like to put pictures up around your office and things like that. Like,
yeah. But like that would be weird as fuck.
That would be, you know what, Mel? The next time I date somebody,
oh my God, if you come at me with coordinating
my God, I am telling you, you know what? This is happening now. Just a heads up to my next future, not even partner. The next person I go on dates with, all of my next future, like within the first 2 or 3 dates, it's going to be a professional photo shoot.
I love that. Actually, a photographer did that. I'm going to have to try and find the photos, but it's a really fun social experiment that ended in like a crazy amount of comfort and intimacy between the two people. They would take strangers and do a couple's photo shoot.
No.
And then by the end, what?
That's not what I know exactly what you're talking about. By the end, they like are like intimate and adorable, and some of them end up dating. Like it was fantastic.
They just feel like they know each other.
No, I'm about to change all of my dating profiles to, just so you know, our first date has to be a professional photo shoot for a gag.
There will be coordinating outfits. Thank you so much. Yeah. Let me know how that goes. You know,
we'll see.
Who knows what'll come out of the woodwork for that? That'll be great.
Honestly, somebody who is down to do something like that for a gag is probably somebody who I'm going to really, really get along with.
Well, but see, if we're doing it for a gag, then I want to like recreate that American...
JCPenney's.
Yes, that like look off into the distance and a spotlight on you kind of situation where there's like two of you in the photo.
But that is like, that's what makes it a gag. This is a gag that is actually like, I want like what this is happening, right? Like I want like, it looks like an actual, like this is going on our wedding cards photo shoot,
it's so
right?
Weird.
Oh,
I
can't wait. I can't wait for people's reactions. I put every single dating profile that I have. This is going on there. I can't fucking wait to hear the responses.
Anyway, Claire's like really uptight, and so the photographer suggests that they tickle each other. Lana ends up tickling her. Claire has a mild meltdown about it.
Do you know how fast Lana would get punched in the face?
Absolutely.
Don't fucking tickle me.
Or an errant elbow.
That's a terrible suggestion. I tell people this because I'm extremely ticklish. I am not at fault. You chose to make this decision. To move forward with this decision. I am not at fault for any harm. Please keep your hands and elbows inside of the vehicle because like you stick them out, they're coming off. Okay?
You're going to get a black eye is what's happening. And I won't even mean to do it necessarily. Like
you get the same warning about touching my feet. Don't fucking touch my feet. I will kick you in the fucking face.
That's fair. That's fair. So anyway, they do that. And after her meltdown, Lana goes and gets her. Turns out she felt funny being out of control like that, which like laughing in front of a stranger, that's out of control for you, Claire?
No,
I don't
No. I understood this immediately. I would hate this. Like I'm not into control the same way that Claire is.
But Claire doesn't mind tickling. It was specifically the being out of control. Oh, you don't like tickling. That's different.
This is true.
Claire thinks she's not ticklish. And it's because nobody has ever tickled her in the world. How?
You think Kale Mama tickled her?
I mean, I would hope so.
You think Tofu Burger Daddy tickled her?
I mean, again, I would hope so.
Also,
but I guess
can
not.
I just talk about
Wouldn't her nanny tickle her?
Can I just talk about the throw out that apparently James, her father, when he met her mom, was just a stone cold hippie?
Yes. Yeah.
Sir, how?
Where are you? Blink twice.
But
Are you okay?
Apparently, he seems real. The parents actually seem to have a pretty decent relationship. I
mean, we only saw them together once. So.
Yeah, but I don't know. I've been reading a lot of really dramatic romance lately. So
okay.
Like the one time you meet the parents and it's bad.
It's bad. Yeah. Anyway, so then they do like photos where Claire is in between Lana's legs as she sits on a counter.
And like snuffling on her neck.
Yeah.
Almost kissing.
And that feels nice.
They get a little tingly.
It's fine. Yeah, people feel tingles in places, and both of them say, "Oh, but it's only me. This it's not affecting the other person as much as it's affecting me at all."
Mm-hmm. That's a theme throughout the book.
Yeah, it's pretty much constant.
Then they go to dinner with Lana's friends, and when they get there, Claire's pissed off because clearly everyone knows something about Lana that she doesn't know. Mm-hmm. That could be an issue because Lana got triggered on the way to the restaurant, because we haven't talked about this, but the scars that Lana has are from a really bad car accident like 2 years ago.
Right.
And specifically the song Good Vibes by the Beach Boys was playing when that happened. And that song came on while they were driving to the restaurant. And so she got super triggered. And then she wouldn't tell Lana what was going on, which fair. Lana and Claire are strangers.
You guys have an employee-boss relationship.
Uh-huh.
That's it. I don't owe you a fucking thing, Claire.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
The job is not for me to convince my friends that you're my girlfriend. That's not my fucking job. You know?
Like, I'm going above and beyond by doing this.
Why is Claire at this dinner?
Lana, why are you inviting Claire to this dinner?
Lana, what are you doing? Why do you want your boss there?
But then
it's because she's sexy. It's fine. And they need quote unquote practice.
I get it. Like, there's so many things that I'm like, why? But also like, I get it. It's romance novel reasons. It's dumb.
But the thing is, there weren't enough romance novel reasons for me to make the leap that you need practice, and then the leap so that's fine, right? If we had seen some dates that they went on as practice, great. But the leap for me that there weren't enough reasons for is Lana including her friends. If Claire was including her friends, fine.
So I can understand. Claire includes her family.
Claire doesn't have any friends. They were all Abby's friends.
That's true. But like Claire does include her family. Like the reason that Lana and Claire are both attending these things is because their friends and family know that they're with somebody that is important enough to them that they live together.
Moved in. Yeah, you're right.
Like, of course they're coming. Which I do have, I'm not going to go into this diatribe, but this idea that when you're in a relationship, you're a we and not a you and an I is a problem. I fucking hate that. Yeah. It's the most disgusting thing. I hate having nothing but mutual friends. Like, and you do everything together. I can't do relationships like that, period. Like we have entirely separate lives that intertwine occasionally at one another's behest. Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, but that's the thing. Like, it was weird to me that she knows this is supposedly only going to be 2 months. And her friends specifically ask that she bring Claire in order to make it a dinner where they get to know her. But it would have been so easy for Lana to beg off and be like, oh, Claire couldn't make it because she has to work late for blah, blah, blah book reason. And then she could have a lovely dinner with her friends and not do any of this.
And then not deal with the shitty conversation in the car home where Claire basically tells her, guess what? I'm paying you, so you have to tell me about it.
Yeah. So Claire is like, oh, yeah, you made me look like an idiot in there. I'm just humiliated. First of all, no, you're not, Claire. Second of all, she could have played this off so easily. But the two things that she didn't know were why Lana is triggered, that one of the other characters is dealing with a car accident at a hospital. And then the second reason is she didn't know that one of her friends has MS. And like,
That's not your business.
what is your deal, man? So she's like berating her. She's so mad that she's driving erratically while being like, you made me look like an idiot and I deserve to know every detail of your life because I'm paying you money.
So,
And it is wild.
I am having one of those moments right now, Mel, where we start the episode and I'm
And
like,
you think you like the book?
I really liked book until we're actually talking about book, because I have Swiss cheese memory. Like, things are written over as I'm reading, right? Like, so by the time I get to the end of the book, if the last 25% is satisfying, unless there was something egregious in the first part of the book, it's not that I forget about it. It's just that it's lessened, right? It's not, it's rose-colored glasses, because like the end, and the opposite happens where even if the beginning and the middle were kind of okay, but the end was fucking trash, the beginning and the middle are suddenly like, they were so good. How did it get ruined so hard? Like,
yeah.
It's terrible. Do not trust me, right? If I say that I really liked the book, do not trust me until we sit down and have a conversation about why I liked the book.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not true. That's not true, because I don't remember shit about Susan Trombley or Regine Abel books, and like,
But you know you
those
love
are
those
fucking
books.
good. But I think that's the difference. Is this is not a 5-star book for me. If I recommend you a 5-star book, it's because there may have been things, but like, honest to God, is a fucking incredible book. Even a 4-star book. This would have been a 3-star book if I did star ratings, right? Or like, would I consider a 3-star book? And a 3-star book can be one that I really liked. It can also be one that I didn't really like, but it's fine. It's a book that I read. But like, boy, I'm getting heated.
Getting a little heated.
Talking about this book right now.
So then Lana, for totally valid reasons, is like, this is ridiculous and I'm upset, and like, drive regular and I'm not talking to you anymore. And they go inside, and then the very next day they have to go to the very first quote unquote performance of Lana's job.
Yeah. The work shindig.
Yeah, a work party. And like, Claire, you didn't think that you should do anything you had to make this better before the party? That didn't cross your mind,
No,
Claire,
don't worry.
the counselor?
Claire had to go do a full 10-hour workday before this party because she's a
sure, she had
workaholic.
to.
She didn't have time to
Bullshit.
clean things up. Well, we get to the party. Apparently, Claire, without letting Lana know, has told all of her coworkers that
Oh my
Lana
God.
is a lawyer.
Oh my God, I forgot about this.
I did not.
And Claire's the one that's like, we should be prepared for any eventuality, and then makes up an entire occupation for Lana?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then I love Lana because she's like, I'm a divorce attorney when somebody asks her. And afterwards, Claire wants to be all up in her bonnet about this. And she's like, how could you say that? That we are the natural enemies, which is not true. You have a completely symbiotic relationship, especially if you're sharing household funds, ma'am.
Yeah, guess what? If the relationship works, I get them. If it doesn't, you get them.
You get them.
If anything, this is the smartest thing for us to do.
Absolutely.
This is job security 101.
Yeah. But she tries to criticize her about this choice. And then Lana, I fucking love Lana because she claps back immediately, being like, A, you sprung this on me last minute. And B, it's actually really savvy because I figured it was the one area of law that bitch would have no questions about.
Oh, yeah. Lana is deeply intelligent.
She's also so good.
She's also great at things. No shit, she's great at improvisation because, multiple times in this book, she has to improv her ass off, and what a queen. So they end up going out into the courtyard. They have their first kiss because they have to hide the fact that they're fighting because Vanessa's out there smoking a cigarette. And Vanessa would apparently know. Also, this idea that every single person
counselor
with is an expert in body language.
No, they're trained, Sabrina. They go to special body language school where you can tell if anybody's mad at anybody else.
See,
but like a lay person can do that. It's not hard to see when two people are disagreeing with each other. That's just humanity.
But also, why is it suddenly noticeable out here in the courtyard, but not in
Totally.
the room?
I mean, I think because in the room, they knew it was like an agreement that they were going to table it and act in love. But now she's trying to pull her out there to like make it better, even though I think she's been home all day. I'm pretty sure it said she was home all day, and Lana and her just like, stayed away from each other. Claire, this was a conversation for noon, dude. Like, this is bananas to me that she would take her to work, and that's where she wants to have it out. Anyway, they do this in the courtyard, and like, and because they haven't had any consent talks at all. They haven't had any, how are we handling this physical stuff talks at all. And then Claire, the boss and the trained therapist, notices that her nemesis is outside. And so she makes the unilateral decision to just attack Lana's face. Makes out with her into oblivion, and like luckily Lana likes it. But even if she didn't like it, she would know that $50,000 are on the line if she fucks it up. This was fucked. This was fucked.
Yeah, usually
I
I'm
didn't like it.
Yay, they had their first kiss. But in my nose, I'm literally just, she plants a big one on Lana, and now they're horny little toads. Now they're horny little toads.
And that's great for them.
Yeah, but like there was no excitement about this kiss. This was a problematic kiss in a number of ways.
Yeah. Because, like, there's no way that Lana could say no, because this is a public... How did she not have a consent talk before this? How is that not part of this book?
So, Melody, I don't have an answer for you.
Was 2018 a time when we didn't have...
Oh, it was.
Explicit consent talks? I feel like it was, right?
Mm-mm. You were just reading good books from 2018. I've read a lot of books from like 2018, 2019 that I don't consider...
I don't mean as a book. I mean as a culture.
Oh.
Consent was an overall cultural discussion in 2018.
I'm going to tell you, it would have been in Los Angeles, but like I lived in a rural place at that point. So like that definitely had not made it here yet.
Okay.
That probably didn't make it here.
But do you think it would be in Los Angeles therapeutic circles?
Absolutely it would. Right? Like, that's what I'm saying, though. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, so Claire ends up apologizing to Lana for about 8,000 different things. And she could have apologized for another 8,000 things, but she didn't.
And Lana is gobsmacked, which should say a lot.
Yeah. And Lana accepts the apology. And then we find out why Lana hates therapists.
Yeah.
And counselors. And it's because she has a shitty relationship with her mom, because her mom just is now currently married to, which, like, oh my God.
Whoa.
She's now
her mom
married,
is married
to her therapist.
Yikes. To her former therapist.
That's rough.
That's yikes. That's criminal? That's just professionally criminal. That can get you
because they ended the therapy they ended the client-patient legally, they can't do shit about it. But like,
no, but I mean from a professional standards.
Ethically, I would not go to a therapist that had married one of their clients. Absolutely not.
No, that's scary town.
The power dynamic there is just so gross.
It's rough. No, but I don't remember if it was specifically said in the book. All I know, the only verbiage I remember is that they were married after they were no longer client and patient. I'm sorry, patient and doctor.
I'm going to be honest. But that doesn't mean they weren't dating. I chose to believe that they ended.
See, and I don't think Lana would have that big of a reaction if it wasn't them dating or like starting to flirt while
I think Lana would.
Client
because
patient.
I think Lana would.
Why do I keep saying client patient? Jesus.
It is client patient.
No, it's patient doctor. And because patient and client are the same thing.
Same thing. Yes. I said that so boldly too. I was like,
Thank
as
you.
my patient.
That is you supporting me, and I appreciate it.
So anyway, but yeah, literally. So like I wrote down in my notes, we find out why Lana hates therapists, even though I don't really fully understand, but I definitely understand her hatred of self-help books and love gurus now, because apparently her whole life after her dad died, which we never find anything out about that, I don't think.
No.
But we find out that since then, her mom has basically been relationship and marriage hopping and spending thousands of dollars on relationship gurus and self-help seminars and blah, 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 and books. And she was neglected.
Audio
and
books and
24/7. And so like, I can understand the self-help book hate. I can understand why Lana is looking at no, I'd do it for 50 grand, but like I would struggle. I would struggle, you know?
Yeah. So then they have to go to an art gallery opening.
Yeah, and we're just going to motor through some shit because like, so there's a couple of cute scenes. There's a couple of annoying scenes. They have this art gallery for some lady, Darlene, and Abby ends up being there. So Abby and Lana meet, and there's some vitriolic conversation that happens there between Claire and
Lana
Abby.
went very far in this.
I feel like
scene.
Lana went farther than Lana needed to.
I feel like
A little out of line.
Lana could have been more sensitive to Abby, who it seems like has very reasonable qualms.
Yeah, I do too.
She's like touching all up on her tummy. Ugh. Abby says like, be careful because once the bloom fades, she's gonna become a workaholic again. And Lana looks at her and says, oh, I have ways to get her to drop her work in 2 seconds flat. Which like, why do you need to contribute to Abby's self? Like, why do you need to imply that you're super sexy and Abby isn't? You know, like, why is that a thing? And then later on, she's like, oh, yeah, well, if you had read Claire's book, you would know that it says like schmurtle self-help boilerplate words. And then Abby looks at her and it is obviously devastated. And she goes, she let you read the book? And Lana's like, of course she would. Why wouldn't she? And there's never a time when Lana backs off of it, even though A, she hasn't actually read the book, and B, it's obviously like a huge
devastating
thing to yeah, it's so mean. It's so mean. And like, Abby's not the person who implied that she was a fat wildebeest who nobody could find attractive like Darlene did.
Abby has come over and is flirting with Lana at first until Lana realizes who Abby is. And then Lana goes full nuclear on...
It's so mean.
I struggled with that scene.
You didn't have to twist the knife, man. Abby didn't do anything to you.
Oh, also importantly, we didn't talk about this. There was a dressing room scene where they end up like getting real vulnerable, and now Claire knows everything about Lana's accident. Lana knows. So like the reason it's important is this is where they start getting a little more vulnerable with each other.
Yeah,
and this is kind of the turning point.
This is the start of when Claire starts seeing Lana as a real person and not as an employee who is inconveniencing her. That's sort of where that starts, because there's that scene, and then at this art show, there's this point where this lady, this asshole Darlene, says like, oh, she doesn't look like your type at all. And it's very clear that she's being like, that's a fat person, and you don't, like, you're not attracted to fat people, because who would be is essentially Darlene's subtext. And Claire is like, I have no idea what she's talking about. Look, that's just Lana. Like, ooh, she's just like her curves and all the business. And it's like, that was your exact fucking reaction when you first met Lana. I read it not 70 pages ago, ma'am. And now you're trying to be judgmental about Darlene, even though, I mean, Darlene should be judged. She's an asshole.
I will say I did not have that issue with that, because I can see now that her views are changing, getting defensive over it.
Well, no, but that's the thing, right? Like, it's only because just now she's starting to see Lana as a human.
Yes, and that's
a problem.
That is a
for
problem.
Me, Melody.
But it tracks.
I know.
It tracks. So like I did not have the same issue with that you did, because like it tracks that now that I have other issues, but not that issue specifically, because it tracks.
It does track completely.
So
I just didn't need it, super didn't need it.
Yeah. Then Lana has started cooking dinners for Claire that are like low, like diet friendly, essentially.
Yeah.
Dinners. And that was super sweet because like Lana
It is really sweet.
is like, you need to eat, babe. But like
You have to eat.
Uh-huh.
You come home late and you haven't had dinner.
And that was very sweet. Yeah, you haven't had dinner, then you eat an apple and drink a bottle of wine. This is a problem. So we're going to put some food in you.
Yeah. So Lana, they start doing like a slow compromise, and it is really nice. Then can we skip forward to New York trip? Oh, we already talked sort of about the family visit. It's like fine, but she accidentally introduces herself as Claire's fiance and then has to walk it back because Claire is forcing her to tell different stories to different people. Mm-hmm. And she has to be like, well, I'm not really her fiance. I just know that she's the one. And so like I am planning to propose at some point. Mm-hmm. And the family is, fine. It's fine.
Yeah. So then they're getting ready to go to but this conversation makes them realize, oh, fuck, we're going to New York tomorrow. It's like 8 p.m. and we need an engagement ring.
What? How? This
How did you get this
Claire's
far?
whole thing is like we have to make the image perfect, and Claire hasn't thought about this woman needing a ring until 10 hours before they board the flight to New York. I cannot suspend my disbelief that far. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
That one's rough.
Anyway,
so they end up compromising because Claire wants to get Lana an $11,000 engagement ring, and Lana's like, I don't even like that ring. And that's
I want a cool ass ring.
Amount of money. And so they end up compromising. Lana gets a ring that she really likes.
It's got a feather on it for her phoenix. I like it. Yeah,
it's a little feather. It's got a topaz. And then
it's New York time. They go to New York, and the night before the interview, Lana has a nightmare. And so they end up snuggling as a result. And they both really love that snuggle.
Hang on. They get to New York. It's the night before the interview, and Claire wants to go over her manuscript 8,000 times. But instead, this is their date day. This is when they go roller skating. This is when So like Lana's like, no, by the way, living in New York for 1 year. I don't know that you're going to know
when
all
she
of
was
these
14.
Cool yeah, this is like 15 years ago. I don't know.
The High Line didn't exist then.
And that's stated in the book.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah.
But like, anyway, so they end up having this like romancy evening that wasn't intended to be romantic, but was accidentally kind of romantic.
They almost kiss.
They go roller skating. It's super sweet. Then they go back to the hotel. It's only one bed. Lana's nightmare is now not just her dying in a fiery car crash or not dying, or getting injured. It's the exact car crash that happens to her.
Except now Claire is there.
Claire's there, and Claire is specifically stabbed through the chest with a piece of metal. And Lana is like, no, not you. It can't be you. And like, it's like, it can be her. This is a nightmare, bud. But obviously you're not.
This is your worst nightmare. Then they do a snuggle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Claire wakes up and is like, how do I wake up somebody having a nightmare? And does wake her up, and then they snuggle up real good, and Claire's like, I'm never going to be able to fall asleep like this, but surprise, surprise, she falls asleep like immediately. By the way, I'm not going to lie, like this was the point where like things start turning around a little bit, which it makes sense, right? This is the point where the book is supposed to start turning around, but like, I did find that roller skating scene swoony as hell.
It was.
So I love an only one bed, like, and I'm a sucker for a character that has nightmares and then has to get reassured in the middle of the night. Like, God. So The next day, it's time for
She has
the interview.
A radio interview.
Uh-huh.
And the interviewer in the audiobook is Scottish, which I loved. And basically, like, Lana gives her a couple of evasive answers and, like, coaches her on how to be sexily evasive and, like, mysterious during the interview if she doesn't want to talk about certain things.
Specifically about honesty, because there's a whole
Yeah.
chapter in her book on honesty.
Hmm. And, but before, okay, this is another thing I cannot suspend my disbelief for, okay?
Okay. I can't
This
wait.
interviewer is at her work job, all right? She is welcoming the guest that is meant to be at her work job. And then right before,
You sure you don't want to give her a good luck kiss?
right before they go into this professional interview, this lady says, oh yeah, don't you want to give her a good luck kiss? Like, I'm bi, so two ladies snogging wouldn't do anything to me.
Is that not the
What?
creepiest? That makes me want to not kiss in front of you.
Why are there so many people who want to watch these two kiss? In this book, so many people are like, don't be afraid to kiss her. You can kiss her right now if you want to. I mean, listen, I'm just going to keep looking at you, but kiss. What? And so then they do kiss, and it was meant to be just a peck, you know? But
And then it turns into a full-on makeout
and
until
Claire
they come out of...
moans. No. Yeah. I'm sorry. No. Claire moans.
I couldn't go on that interview after that. I'd be so mortified. I would go I would go let myself get run over by all of those roller skaters.
I would sink through the floor.
You would never see me again. I would disappear into the forest and never come back.
What are you doing? I don't care if you're supposed to be showing off a healthy relationship. You can have a really healthy relationship and also not moan in front of strangers.
At your work job.
At your work job.
Also, I just need to comment on this because, like, I know that we've spent a lot of time in the first half of the book. There are a lot of moments in the second half of the book that are so swoony, and we just don't, like, that I really liked. And, like, we just don't have the time to go over them. And so instead, we're going over the things that we need to talk about with each other because, and most of them are, oh God, moments.
Yeah, Sabrina really liked them, and I enjoyed them. It did not outweigh all of the rest of it, is all
It's
for
fine.
me.
And that's fine. It's just we just don't have time. And it's frankly, Mel, it's these moments that I want to gab with you about more. You know what I mean? It's so much more fun to talk with you about because we could be like, yeah, there were swoony parts, and like this was swoony as hell. And I have a lot of highlights, but like I needed to talk to you about that moan.
Like, what? Okay, so then they do the interview. It's fine. Then they have to go immediately to lunch with this prospective publisher. And when
Turns
they
out,
show up,
oh my God, it turns out that in the very beginning of emails, Claire told Bridget Huge. By the way, it is stated that it's
Huge.
ironic. Her last name is Huge because she is a tiny lady. She's also a little lesbian, which is adorable. But apparently at the very beginning of their emails, Claire told Bridget Huge that her fiance's name was Abby. And now she's introducing Alana. And then Lana
and Claire locks up. Claire just drops the ball. Claire's just standing there
because she
the
totally
headlights.
forgot. She totally forgot that she had said that. And frankly, the reason Bridget remembered it is because, unfortunately, her wife's name is also Abby. So of course you're gonna. Oh, how interesting! And then Lana whips this lie out of her ass. Oh,
amazing.
Well, it's actually, my first name's Abigail, but my sister's named Gabby. So Abby was out of the question. So I usually go by Lana. Why, in that case, would Claire put in the email Abby?
Why would she do that?
I don't know. I have so many notes in here where, like, in scenes like this, where my note is, how is this not blowing up in their face immediately?
Yeah.
So then they tell the lady, Mel, the ladies, like, when are you getting married? And Lana or Claire's like in June.
No. Claire first has no idea what she's talking about because she's thinking publication date.
When are you setting
Lana
a
has to
date?
be, Lana has to be like, honey, she's talking about the wedding. Isn't she so cute? She's so cerebral.
Yeah, and then it's
What?
like, oh, it's in June, and Bridget, like a weirdo, says, oh, you mean tomorrow? And they're like, no,
next June.
Next June. And guess what? When Bridget says, oh, so you're doing a long engagement? The answer is yes. We're doing a long engagement instead of Lana out of nowhere being like, it's actually because my sister's deployed. And when she gets back, we want her to be at the wedding too. Oh, what branch? Marines? Like... What, Lana? That was a completely unnecessary lie.
Well, not to mention that Claire wonders if that's the truth or if it's a lie, and we actually never find out, I don't think, whether or not Gabby is deployed.
Is there a Gabby?
Is there a Gabby?
God, there were so many lies in this entire, like, you live in a river of lies.
Yeah.
You're going to drown.
Yes.
You can't even keep straight if you're a girlfriend or a fiance. And now you have to remember that your sister Gabby is deployed until next year and that your first name is Abigail.
I don't know with these people. I don't know. So then they also, what is gonna happen? Like, this plan also makes no sense because sure, you get the contract signed, but then what happens when you have to go on your press tour and tell everyone that you did in fact break up with your fiance of 7 years?
Well, and
because that's her current plan.
They had talked about that. There was a possibility for extension back at the beginning before they started fucking up and getting with each other and being actually interested in each other. That there was a possibility for extension. Like they would be broken up but that's the thing. They'd be broken up according to their friends and family. But then Lana's just going to randomly show up for press tours as your fiance? What? Like,
what are we doing?
Why does your fiance have to be there on your press tour?
True. She is but a lowly barista. Oh my God, we forgot to tell people about that.
It does.
When Claire, we can't. But Claire is a
We can't.
snob to the nth degree, and I resented it.
But then I did think it was swoony when by the end, like, Claire was like, this is my girlfriend.
She's a barista. Yeah.
I'm so proud of her.
Loud and proud.
Anyway, so then Claire decides she wants to celebrate and we're going to do it in style. And Lana's like, I don't do high heels. And Claire's like, don't worry, no high heels are involved. And so they decide, by the way, Claire's like, leave it up to me. And then they get outside and Lana's like, so what are we doing? And Claire's like, what do you want to do?
And Lana completely takes this in stride, being like, wow, it's really nice that the control freak left it up to me. But this was after she had been like, I have something so great planned. You just wait. I'm not going to tell you what it is because you just wait. There is a dress code. Like, what?
The thing that had me cackling, because I clocked it immediately, Lana's looking around this. I have spent less than 12 hours in New York City in my lifetime. And I knew this immediately because I'm a romance person. The minute that Lana was like, oh, we need to do something that's not romantic. And then she's like, the Empire State Building. And I was like, oh, you fucked up, Lana.
Dummy.
You fucked
hot
up,
dummy.
You got not only, and then of course Claire's like, oh, listen to these two, Sleepless in Seattle and some movie from 1938,
Love Affair,
something like that. Both take place at like there's a big end scene at the blah 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 based on the Empire State, blah blah blah. And Lana's like,
oh no.
Oh,
well,
shit.
Here we go.
And I was cackling. I was cackling so hard. I was like, Lana, there's literally nothing you could have chosen to do in New York City that would not have been part of or like something that could become romantic. You're exploring a new city together. Like, you needed to take, like, I literally cannot, and maybe this is just a me thing, but like, I literally cannot think of anything that I could do in a city I do not know with somebody I'm starting to have feelings for that would not end up feeling romantic.
Oh,
you know
of
what I
course.
mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So anyway, they go up to the Empire State Building. It's unfortunately romantic. They go have dinner. It's unfortunately romantic. And then they decide to go get some drinks at the cocktail bar upstairs so that they can
Which is
avoid going back to
Also,
the room.
unfortunately romantic.
And not only is it unfortunately romantic, I don't know about you, Mel, but putting a little alcohol in my system.
There's no way to make me sluttier.
Yeah.
There's no way.
There's no way. Like,
That is a ticket straight to Slut Town.
like, and it doesn't even have to be a lot of alcohol.
No. I
Like,
feel a loose.
A little loose. All of my inhibitions are lowered, and I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
that's a sexy person over there. And whoops, I took a couple home. Like,
Yes, exactly. Well, and so Lana grabs her hand, pulls her into the room, and she's like, we both want this. Let's do this.
whoa, hang
Oh,
on.
come on. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so they have a couple of drinks, and then in the elevator, they have a wonderful kiss. Okay,
Sure.
wonderful kiss, and Lana is like, we both clearly want this. Mm-hmm. What, and why can't we make an exception for it? And that's important because that's an overwhelming theme throughout this entire night.
Oh, yeah,
is
making
we're
exceptions.
making an exception. And then they go to the room and it's on TM.
Yeah. Fully on.
And frankly,
Is good sex.
it's some of the best sapphic
Yeah.
sex I've read in a book. Because like,
Agreed.
I feel like a lot of times sapphic sex scenes are a little flat. Like it's just not it's not spicy generally. I see a lot of montages. I see a lot of like, this was well
Okay,
described.
I did have 2 issues with this sex that I would like to speak to you specifically about. Because there were 2 things that felt very hetero-coded that happened. One is Claire saying that like she was feeling too good and this would be over in like 3.5 seconds if she didn't slow it down. And I know that I'm coming from a place of multiple orgasm privilege, but like I've actually never had the thought or talked to another AFAB person who during sex has been like, orgasm is the end of sex, period.
So
That's normally like a dude can't get it up again quickly thing.
I did not take it that way because I've been
Okay.
in situations like that
Okay, cool.
with other AFAB people
Okay.
where like I'm somebody like unless you could like I am not going once you make I am I don't know that I want this out there publicly.
You no, and you don't have to. I'm not asking.
Hey, guess what, listeners? So sorry. This is something that's going to stay private between me and Mel, but we'll be back in a second. Just going to
Okay.
confirm that this is a thing. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
BRB
okay.
listener. Bye.
All right.
So
Okay, hey listener, we're back. What we decided after a good 4 or 5 minute conversation is that it's not necessarily hetero-coded.
it's a person to person thing. Because to be clear, there are also like actual IRL people with penises.
Yeah.
That when they come, that does not mean it's over.
Right. Yeah,
with,
that's true.
With the penis. I'm not saying like they're going to use their mouth or their hands again.
Totally.
It's like, but it is, yeah. I can see where
But it's
you thought it
rarer.
was hetero-coded.
I'm glad
can
we had
see
this
that.
talk because I'm really glad we had this talk. Okay. What was the other thing about this scene? Oh, okay. This didn't feel hetero-coded, but it was something that I wanted to talk to you about. And it's because on the one hand, I completely understand it and have definitely felt that way quite a bit, but also it makes me sad that I feel that way quite a bit because of overall culture. And that is specifically Claire not wanting Lana to go down on her with her mouth
I clocked that.
because she has not like showered all day. And because it's too intimate. But that part I understand.
No, what I specifically clocked is that it's because she hasn't shaved in a couple of days.
Yeah, like basically she thinks the area needs to be prepared in order for someone to enjoy it.
Specifically to put their mouth on it.
Right.
Yeah, I clocked this because I've had a lot of issues with people having an issue with hair down there. So like this hit me right in the soft spot. Every time Claire was like, and so when later in the book, Lana,
I really liked that.
like, I want to talk about that when we get there, but
For sure.
like,
Yeah.
that was not a DNF kind of thing, but I did have to put the book down for a second because I'm not going to say word for word what people have said in the past. Because like I've had a lot of one night stands. I've taken a lot of people home with me from like bars and things like that. And it wasn't even looking at oral. It was just comments made
Oh.
to the extent of me leaving a person's house
Holy shit.
without anything happening, or me kicking them out of mine without anything happening because the comments were so egregious. And I don't have a good vibe of whether that's mostly AMAB people or AFAB people saying those things, because most of it, and this is probably a societal thing, most of it was
a
from
societal thing.
AFAB people,
Yeah.
specifically women identifying people who said the worst things.
Seriously?
I've never had a terrible thing said by, which is
cis
shocking
dude?
to me.
Huh.
I've had
Interesting.
people like,
Okay.
I've had conversations with them where they're like, that's
Sure.
Granted, and I'm not talking about on dating apps and stuff. This is like in the moment we're going for kind of thing. Cis dudes never had a problem.
Right.
Frankly, I
Interesting.
think that he was just happy to be there. You know,
Yes.
like I think that he was just happy to be there.
Well, wait, really quick, just in case, because I know that we have a really wide listenership. When we say AFAB and AMAB, that stands for assigned female at birth or assigned male at birth. And it just specifically talks about physical attributes, not necessarily how somebody
and
identifies.
it doesn't take into account intersex or anything like that. It is-
No. Yeah. So anyway, just in case anybody out there didn't know, that's what that stands for.
So, but yeah, that I clocked that like the minute it came up. I was like, because originally I was super excited because Claire did not have an issue with the fact that she was talking about Lana's curls down there,
Yeah.
and how wet she was, and it was not a problem at all.
Right.
But then she felt
For herself.
for herself that it wasn't acceptable. And like,
Yeah. I think Claire is
baby.
the most judgmental on herself. Like,
oh yeah.
I think for Claire, like a lot of people, it's a lot easier to forgive and appreciate and enjoy things that she thinks are unacceptable on her own body.
And like, we've all been there. Like
Yes. That's what I said. Yeah. I mean, it's understandable. It just makes me sad.
we are so much harsher on ourselves. Especially as like, as women identifying people. Like society has a lot of shit to say about how our bodies are supposed to look. And that's not to say that that's not true for men as well. But like, yeah.
Well, see, and my thing was Claire being like, I haven't showered yet. You know, like, oh no, I haven't showered yet. Like, I don't know how things are down there. And I don't know. Anyway, so Lana goes with it and she's like, cool, we'll just do finger stuff. And it's really good because Lana keeps on edging her and Claire really likes that she's taking the control back from her. And then finally Claire can't take it anymore. And so she pushes Lana over and
just
she straddles
sits
her
on
and
her
rides
hand.
her fingers that way. Hot.
And
It's
Lana
very
thinks
hot.
it's super sexy in that Claire's like, I'm fucking taking control of this. Let's go.
And says it out loud. It's great. But then they both get awkward in the morning.
Well, before the morning even, they fucking pull the blankets up over themselves and lie side by side. I could picture this in my head
staring
so
at the
clearly.
ceiling.
And then they both at the same time happened to look over at each other and then quickly looked away. And then Claire is like, hey, so if we're making an exception to the rule anyway tonight, can we extend that to us cuddling to sleep? And Lana's like,
hell yeah.
And it was super cute. Claire wakes up, has an existential crisis, goes into the bathroom to shower, and refuses to let Lana see her naked now. Literally, it's a whole thing. And then Lana wakes up alone in bed.
And she wakes up alone in bed, and Claire has left her the hotel bathrobe just in case she feels the same way. But Lana takes it as, oh, Claire does not want to see my body anymore. She wants it covered up.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, and it's sad. And then they get on the plane, and it's fucking awkward.
And then the next 4 days are awkward, and now she's moving out. And Claire is supposed to be getting that contract, and she realizes that she doesn't want to sign it because that means that once she signs it, her contract. with Lana is over. Mm-hmm. And she and Lana have had a couple of discussions where Lana has said, what if you get into another relationship and you stay in it just because, you don't want to suffer another public breakup. And Claire's like, what? No, I did this because of that. I wouldn't do that to myself or another person. And then Lana's like, well, I think that there's, not for nothing, there's a good chance that you wouldn't even know you're doing it. You just sort of convince yourself that things are good enough because you don't want it to impact the contract. And so Claire knows that that is on the front of Lana's mind all the time. Mm-hmm. So then basically what happens is Claire decides that she's going to reject the contract because she wants Lana.
So what leads up to this, and just the quickest brief overview, is that they both go into the 4th of July party at her parents' house well aware that this is the final night that they have together. This is it. Mm-hmm. They're never going to be together again after this. And it's so romantic and forced romance because of their family or her family.
Yeah.
We're this is going to be so romantic. Let's go do this. So they go and watch the fireworks.
Yeah. And Lana's holding Claire from behind.
Oh, God. And then God, this is one of those times where talking about the cute, amazing things that happen in a book suffers because there are other bigger issues at play, because there's so many things in the last
This moment was really lovely. Yeah.
But so, yeah, it was beautiful. They get back from, and I loved this. I loved that this happened this way. They get back. Mm-hmm. They're both conflicted. Claire is laying in her bed. Lana says she'll be out the next day, and so she can't sleep and starts packing. And Claire's just laying in bed, staring at this contract on her bedside table, which, Claire, leave work at work,
Yeah.
Or at least in your home office. But anyway, so then Claire's like, fine, I'm just going to bite the bullet and do it. And she goes to sign. First, she spends a bunch of minutes trying to figure out which pen to use, which one feels the best. And then she goes through and is she starts to puts the pen down, and then she picks it up. And then she puts it down, and then she picks it up. And then as she's about to sign the contract, she remembers some advice that she gave on the talk show and some advice she got from Steph, which is her sister, because she finally confessed that night at 4th of July to her sister that this was all fake. And her sister was like, you guys are so in love. It's sickening. And the advice that she gave was, you need to be honest with yourself about your needs and wants. Do some soul searching. Sometimes you think you know what you want, but it might not actually be what you need. And Steph's advice was, happiness can't be planned like your retirement fund, Claire. You put your heart on the line and hope for the best. And Claire fucking takes that and runs because in the middle of the night on 4th of July, she emails Bridget Huge and says, I can't sign this contract. I'm so sorry. And then she goes out and finds Lana and is like, I want to be with you. And Lana's like, what? What about the contract? And Claire's like, fuck the contract. I want you.
Fuck the contract.
And Lana's like, but you can't do that. And Claire's like, guess what? I already did. I emailed saying I'm not signing it. I want you over this contract. And it was, I love that there was not
swoony.
multiple days.
Romance.
It was not multiple days of them waffling and them moving out. And like, it was just, we've realized that we're in love and we're just going to be together. So Claire asks Lana to give them a chance and they have a kiss in the kitchen and it's smoking hot and they're all over each other and it's super cute. And Claire closes the cupboard that Lana had opened to get mugs out. And it was super cute because I have the quote. Wait.
Yes, please. Yes,
cute.
please.
Before Lana pulled her out of the kitchen, Claire reached out and closed the cabinet door that Lana had left open after taking out her mugs. Chuckling, Lana led her through the hall. What a neat freak. But Claire was her neat freak now. And I was like, oh, that's so cute. Because they've started to love each other's little quirks. And it's just, and we didn't get to talk about it, but that starts happening and it's adorable. And then this made me cackle because Claire starts to slow down outside of the guest room that Lana stays in. And Lana is like, what the fuck, bro? You ask me to stay and you think I'm staying in another room? And Claire's like, no, let's go. And then they go into the master bedroom.
So dumb, Claire. Come on, man. And then they have good sex, and Lana convinces her to let her give her oral, even though she hasn't like shaved or anything else. And it's really, really sweet.
I'm going to tell you, because I wrote it down in my notes, this oral scene is one of the hottest and most authentic oral scenes I have ever read in a book. It was
really good.
It was really good.
It was really
beautiful.
good.
And then, gosh, there's so many cute quotes and things and feeling like a sex goddess. And it's, it was just wonderful. Also, I'm still not sure how, I just have to put this out there. I've never been a fan of scar kissing. I'm still not sure how I feel about scar kissing.
I don't need it.
Yeah.
I don't need it. I don't need it. It's not a thing that I need.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then in the morning, she gets a call from Bridget Huge, and she's like, hey, man, what's going on? Like, if you don't like a couple of the terms, that's what negotiations are for. And Claire's like, no, it's a personal matter. And Bridget like tries to go back to her and be like, well, if you need any dates changed, if it's a health issue or whatever. And then as this is happening, Lana looks up at her all naked and hazy and stuff. And she's like, sign the contract. Like, don't give up the book for this.
Well,
gesture acknowledged.
And I loved that Lana did this because it's true. Because like, go after your dream, get yours. You've already made the grand gesture and you are lucky enough that there is a way to not fix the grand gesture, but like the thing you gave up, there's a way for you to still get it. And the intention was there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah,
Claire
you
says,
proved to me that I am more important than the book. Have book 2. Thank you.
And then Claire says, Bridget, I will sign this contract on one condition. I get final say over who the narrator for the audiobook is. And then Bridget
was very
is
sexy.
Like, cool, awesome. I thought about you immediately. I was like, there's nothing that would be
very
sexier
sexy.
to Mel. Mel would be like, yes, please. Because they get off the phone and Claire's like, yeah, blah, blah. And Lana's like, oh, who's going to be the narrator? And Claire's like, you, ding dong. It's you.
Yeah.
Of course it's you. So let's just launch Lana's voice acting career.
Let's do it.
Which solves a lot of the issues that she's had in Hollywood because of her tattoos and scars and the fact that she's fat. Like, hell yeah.
Well, and so then the epilogue is a year later. They're at their engagement party now. And It's very cute. Lana has gotten a bunch of work as an actor in different ways. Claire's doing great. Everything's wonderful. And
Then
that's the end.
Jill gets there.
Yeah, Jill. Okay.
Jill gets there and she's like, guess what? I have good news. Because of your some blah, 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 it doesn't matter. My friend wants you to be the lead in her movie. And and Lana says, wow, what kind of movie is it? And Jill says, it's a romantic comedy about a relationship that starts out as fake but quickly grows into true love. Think you can play that part? Lana and Claire looked at each other and laughed. You could say the role is tailor-made for me.
Which their friends don't understand because
Okay,
they've decided to keep them in the dark forever.
Not a year ago, they'd had a long discussion and had finally decided not to tell their friends about how their relationship had really begun. They didn't want to hurt their feelings or make them feel as if they didn't trust them enough to tell them the truth from the start. And they also tie up that Claire's colleagues think Lana's a lawyer because apparently she was method acting a part to be a lawyer. I don't know. I had a lot of questions, but it's fine.
That's so LA. It's so LA though.
Mel, before
Yeah.
we fucking leave this book, you probably don't have the same feelings about this that I do. I was swindled. This, according to everything I found, is a standalone fucking book. In the very beginning of this book, when we meet Jill and Crash, I was like, damn, I really wish I had that romance. They
Agreed.
have a romance novel.
Great.
It's called Just Physical.
Okay.
I wish with an unholy fervor that I had known that because I would have read that first. Oh, but because it's not a fucking series and we know how intense I get about this, I will leave a spin-off series and go read the series that it spins off of before I read the spin-off series. I was swindled.
Wow. You were.
I was swindled.
You were.
And frankly, I'm down too many.
Fix it.
Well, now I'm down too many rabbit holes. I don't know when, if ever, I'll get back, you know? But like, anyway, that was book. They're together forever. HEA.
Yeah. All right. So, hey, my lady love is give yourself a haircut when it's hot, when you feel like you need some air on your neck. That's my lady love. And, you know, DNF if you need to. I probably should have. But I didn't really see it at the time. Yeah. It's, I don't know. Fat phobia and diet culture are so insidious that, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. What is your lady love, Sabrina? Is
Look
it
at me just looking around?
Is it asking people to kiss in front of you and forcing them to?
No.
With
So my lady love is this dumb Instagram reel TikTok video. Okay. Of this guy who wanted to know how many cans of SpaghettiOs, letter SpaghettiOs, do you need to write the Lord of the Rings trilogy?
Oh, Jesus.
So he bought like 10 cans of SpaghettiOs. He separated out all of those SpaghettiOs by letter. He calculated the average number of each letter that shows up in a can of SpaghettiOs. Then he wrote a computer program to calculate how many of each letter is in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And then he wrote a program that converts from SpaghettiOs to Tolkien words.
No.
And he realized that you would need something like 8,957 cans of SpaghettiOs to write the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
That's shocking
You would
to me, actually.
have-
I was expecting a lot more cans.
You would have, it may have just been the first Lord of the Rings book. I don't remember.
Okay.
But you needed like 12, like a couple million letters to write the thing. And you would have left over like 13 million SpaghettiO letters.
Oh my God.
Because
oh
you're
my
not
God.
using
oh my
every
God.
letter out of every can. And I have watched it so many times. I have shown it to so many people. I can't believe I forgot to send it to you. I have talked about it at D&D. I have talked about it to random people. This is my special interest right now. That video is my special interest. I'm going to send you the link.
That's crazy.
I'm going to send you the link. It's an unsolved mystery. And
Please.
frankly, it was a mystery that I needed solved. So
Wow.
Thank you, stranger.
That's wild. You know what? It's crazy to me that we can do things like build a program that will
Convert
figure out how many
SpaghettiOs to
of
Tolkien?
each letter. Yeah, no, I mean, even the first one, just figuring out how many of each letter is in a Tolkien book. That's bananas to me. That a program can do that, let alone then converting it into SpaghettiOs.
I'm just so horny for technology, dude. I love programming. And like somebody who takes programming and does such a chaotic neutral thing as that. Like,
I mean, totally.
Actually, you know what? That's
hot.
Like that video is my lady love, but like the overarching lady love is using technology to be a truly chaotic neutral gremlin. It doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't help anybody.
No.
My God, is it chaotic? Because the idea of touching all of those SpaghettiOs sends all of my sensory issues into overdrive. But it does mean that I do have 4 cans of SpaghettiOs in my shopping cart for this weekend.
Jesus. I love it.
Anyway.
All right. Keep being a badass and love yourself as much as you love
What was the one you just said?
forcing people to kiss in front of you by telling them, it's not weird if you kiss in front of me. It's not weird.
I'm
You can just kiss
bisexual."
right now in front of me. I'm bisexual. I might even get off on it a little bit. Why don't you kiss? You can kiss.
Oh, or love yourself as much as you love letting listener know we're having a conversation off pod, but we'll come back.
We do that a shocking amount.
Well, but we don't usually, we're not
No, we
usually
don't.
like.
Nobody ever knows about it. I just
They
cut
never
15
know.
minutes from the episode.
Yeah, they have no idea. But like I do, like this one, like it needed, you asked a question and I had an answer and it was just, well, BRB, BRB listener.
Yep. Okay. All
Okay.
right. Bye.
Bye.
Heaving Bosoms is produced by us, Melody Carlisle and Sabrina Bradley. Editing is done by Melody Carlisle.
Our theme music is by the incredible singer-songwriter Brittany Fonts, and our art is by ultra-talented author Kate Pryor. If you like our show, remember to follow us on your favorite podcast app, rate us 5 stars, leave a nice review, and of course, tell all your friends about us, even if they don't read romance.
If you want to get in touch, you can email us at heavingbosomspodcast@gmail.com. If you want more of us, visit patreon.com/heavingbosomspodcast. You can also find us on Instagram at Heaving Bosoms, on TikTok at Heaving_Bosoms, and in our Facebook group, the Heaving Bosoms Geriatric Friendship Cult.
Head over to our website to sign up for our newsletter, get our Reading Embrace printable, and check out my audiobooks at heavingbosoms.com. All right, we'll be back next week with more swoons and snark. See you then.